Hey guys, it's your boy AD back with another video. Now in today's video, I'm doing my Naruto was like Toby part 3. So yeah, anyways, get the video 25 like for next part, and yeah, this is pretty much a series that I will be focusing on for until it's basically done. So yeah, basically just don't really expect me to like upload any other series right now until this series is done. So yeah, anyways, I posted a poll earlier basically asking you guys which one you guys wanted, and like about 75% of you guys said you wanted this one. So yeah, I'm doing it right now. But yeah, anyways, for following you, let's just get real sorry. Energy me low. You gotta see. I just want to apologize, like if I sound tired or like if I'm like stopping a lot in this video. That's because I just came from school, so I'm kind of tired. But yeah, anyways, basically we start off with Toby and Mio as actually no, never mind, that's about it. But yeah, basically we start off with Toby and Mio as they would appear into a room where Deidara would be sitting in and basically creating a clay bird, as like Toby would basically put a stick he would like take a stick off the ground and basically started poking him, as Data would basically say, so what do you want, Toby? As Toby would basically say, leaders would basically say, Data, freaking hell, basically he would like lead Data to lead Data to like a different room, as then Toby would basically say, well, I found this giant bed and there's no one around, so I was wondering if he was about to say if he could do something, but like he couldn't continue, as he was basically punched the stomach, as he would get sent flying to the bed, as he would be screaming in like basically screaming like he was in pain and acting like basically he was in pain. I would basically go back to making more clay or whatever. You know how he like use clay to like explode shit. Like he's just basically creating clay and stuff, so he doesn't have to create it when he's fighting. As Toby would basically just mumble something about abusing senpais, as he would basically crawl away, as then he would basically go away, as we skipped over to Zetsu, as he would basically come out of the ground, as he would tell Naruto something, as Naruto would basically smirk. Wait, if I missed this in the previous parts, Zetsu is actually mother as well in this one. So yeah, just I'll remind you guys if I forgot to say in the first part or something like that. So yeah, Naruto would basically smirk, as his eyes would basically flash red, like a red color, as he would basically say, well, it looks like we will meet again, as we basically get sucked away into a swirling vortex, as we basically skip over to Konoha, otherwise known as Hidden Leaf Village, as Team 7 will basically get a secret mission, as Mema and Mito will basically get made fun of by Tazuna, and Sasuke would just basically do whatever he does in canon, just like stand there or whatever. Kakashi basically stopped the siblings from killing Tazuna for mocking them, as they would basically go on and start the mission, as they would basically meet the demon boys like in canon, and practically the same thing will happen, except that Mema didn't freeze, so you just like kick him away. As they'll meet, like they will continue, and then they'll meet after getting the information. They'll meet Zabuza and the demon ballers, basically not the demon ballers, the Zabuza and Haku, but Haku be still hidden, and Zabuza would basically like the fight will happen pretty much the same as in canon, where Kakashi tells him to stay back until he gets captured, and he tells them he tells them to run because he doesn't really want them to stay there or whatever, but they would stay and do that little thing. So yeah. Anyways, basically that would happen, and yeah, they'll practically the same as canon as Haku will basically come and save Zabuza, as he would use the same hunter nin trick and all that to get away, as then he'll basically go to their little base to heal, as then Team 7 will basically go to Tazuna's house, as they'll go there, like they'll get there. Kakashi will basically they get put into a room to rest, as we skip to when uh he woke up. Kakashi will basically train the group and shit like that in tree climbing, but Team 7 was better at chakra control, so they basically would learn the tree climbing 100% and like the water climbing 100% as well, but like not really 100%, just like 90% to some degree. Right, they can actually use it, but like they have to focus a little bit. So basically, Kashi wants them to be able to use it like basically like normal ninja, where like it's pretty much second nature to you or whatever. So they basically just need to practice a little bit more, making it more natural to them. As yeah, they'll basically eventually meet Haku and all of that. After that, they'll basically meet him, and the interaction will go completely different. What happened was that Mema and Sasuke were basically arguing over who would get to basically be with Haku, as Mema would basically say he's a child of poverty and the son of fourth Hokage, as Sasuke would say how he's the foremost, like he's from the strongest clan and he's an elite Uchiha, quote unquote, as we basically see Naruto and Mio as they were basically sitting on the tree looking down at them, as Naruto would like chuckle to himself, like basically chuckle to Sasuke's statement about how he's a Uchiha, as Mio will basically do the same, as then they'll basically get sucked away into a swirling vortex, as they'll basically appear in a distance away, as we go back to Sasuke, as we basically in Mema and all them, as basically Mito was like, girl, you look pretty good and shit like that, as then Haku would laugh and say, I'm a guy, as Mema and Sasuke would pass out from the shock, as we basically skip the end of the week, as we see Naruto and Mio were basically laying down in the open field, with Mio basically laying on Naruto's chest, cuddling with him, as Naruto had his arm wrapped on her back, as they would, oh yeah, in this one, I just want to clarify this. Naruto is not cold in any mean. Like he's like kind of cold to the point where like he's willing to kill and stuff like that. Basically like a ninja should be. But like he's not like cold hearted to the point where like he's not gonna try and like basically be with Mio and stuff like that. He will actually like give her love and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But like he's like mostly cold to like the only people that he's really cold against is like Jiraiya, Mema, Mito, and Tsunade. So yeah, I just want to clarify that. Other than that, he's like okay with like the other people, most of them anyways. And with Mio, he's like basically happy and all that stuff. So yeah, as you basically Naruto would wrap his arm on her back, basically kind of like a waist or whatever, as they will basically just be sleeping. Meanwhile, Kakashi and his team appeared in the bridge, as they will basically see all the dead bodies of the workers and all that stuff. Basically, the people that were supposed to be building the bridge, except for Tazuna, which was just like giving orders. I think, I don't know. Yeah, they will basically be see the workers that were supposed to be working on the bridge, as they'll basically get under guards, as they would suddenly have to dodge, as like Kakashi would basically dodge, and as basically the hunter nin that would basically kick Sasuke away from the group and start basically fighting with him, as Kakashi basically was about to go and help him, but was stopped by Zabuza Momochi, the demon of the hidden mist, as he would basically stop Kakashi from helping Sasuke, as they would basically start fighting, as Sasuke would basically be getting beat up like a absolute weak ass that he is. But yeah, we're gonna talk about that anyways. as you basically use like Sasuke will basically get used as like a pincushion basically, as then Mema will basically come into the ice mirrors, as he'll basically start fighting with Haku, as well as the fight will basically go similar except that he actually willingly jumped in the way of the Senbon needles, as this time when he was quote unquote dying, he didn't say that he hated Mema, but said that I hope you become the Hokage and please kill my boy Itachi, as he would basically quote unquote die. As then Mema would basically get mad and use the ninth Earth chakra, making his body change, as then a boom will basically happen and all the ice mirrors basically get blown away. Instead of some of the ninth Earth's cloak around him, there'll be basically no more skin on Mema, as his skin will get replaced by a darkish red chakra type thing, as there'll be four tails basically swinging behind his back, whatever, making him look like a miniature QB in only 4 tails instead of 9 like it's supposed to have. As you basically go on a rampage. Alright, my bad. I was just making sure I was actually recording because I didn't want to like do the whole video and like go back again to redo it. So yeah, sorry about that. As basically he would look like a miniature QB, as he would basically go on a rampage, as he would basically kill Haku by destroying his entire body, and Zabuza would basically, except for his head actually, as Zabuza would actually like grab like we get stabbed in the chest, my bad, by Shidori from the copy ninja himself, Kakashi Hatake, as he would basically he would hear a lot of footsteps as Gato and his army. Oh freaking hell! Why did I say it like that? Sorry about that. Anyways, Gato and his army would basically like Gato and his army would basically walk to the other side from the other side of the bridge, coming towards the group of ninjas, as they were about to before they were able to do anything. Mema in his 4-tail cloak would basically launch himself at them, destroying and basically ripping their bodies apart, as he'll basically start to he'll be standing on all fours, as he basically was holding it was basically like raining blood, kind of just like all the blood the thugs were like falling down and shit, kind of like rain, as Kashi would basically be frustrated, thinking about how he's going to how is he going to be able to stop Mema, since he's kind of low on chakra, and he's like low on chakra and all that stuff, as he can't really use the Sharingan much anymore due to him being low on chakra or whatever. As he was thinking about how you can stop Mema from going on the rampage, as then they would basically hear clapping noises, as they would look back to see two figures basically standing on a tree, as one of them would basically be a male and the other one would be a female, as they'll basically be wearing masks, the male having an orange mask and the female having a black mask, as both their masks has like a swirling pattern basically like you can see in the picture, and basically they were both wearing a black cloak with red clouds and white outlines on them. And I know in the picture it just has like actual Konoichi clothing on her, just like imagine the Akatsuki group over her. So yeah, and she also has that, I don't know, but yeah, basically as then the man will basically start to speak in a childlike voice, as you basically say, "Hello, my fellow Konoha friends. How you doing in this beautiful day? Are you all ready to give me the 9 tails?" As Mito will basically say, "No freaking way, Akatsuki scum." As Naruto will basically say, "Yes, I am part of the Akatsuki," and so Tobi. Oh my gosh. Basically, Naruto will basically say, "Yes, I am part of the Akatsuki," and so Tobi is a good boy. As Mito would say, "No, you're not a good boy. You're not good more than Freaking hell, bro. Messing it up. Basically, Mito would say, no, you're not good. The Akatsuki is bad. And you're all evil, basically. As Tobi would basically gasp. As Mio would basically say, no, Tobi senpai. You're a good boy. But the Leaf Village is the evil ones. As they will basically go back and forth with them, like saying how Tobi saying that he's good and stuff. And Mio saying that. Not Mio, Mito saying that he's bad. So, yeah. As then basically Mio basically say, Tobi senpai, let's go do what the Akatsuki told us to do. As Tobi would basically stop and say, yes, Mio-chan, you're right. As then he would basically say, so will you give us the Nine Tails? And Kakashi would basically say no. As Tobi would say, what if we say pretty please? As Kakashi would basically look at him with a poker face, like what the heck face basically. As Tobi would basically say fine. As basically he would pull up his sleeve, like the sleeve of his cloak, whatever. As we basically have to do this the hard way. As then he'll basically jump off the tree. As he'll basically rush at Mema, but then Mema will basically slash at him with using the chakra of the Nine Tails to create like a giant claw. But to everyone's surprise except for Mio, the attack will basically like instead of like slashing Tobi, he'll basically the attack will go right to his body like he was a ghost. As then Tobi will basically slam his palm into Mema's face, doing a downward, like basically going down with his face and hitting him to the ground. As Naruto had used his ability to suck away chakra, like basically his other Mangekyo ability in Kamui to like suck away chakra. So yeah, I think I said all the abilities in the first part, but if I didn't, basically Naruto's abilities are basically to summon the Susanoo and Kamui long and short distance, and put the Kamui abilities in other things, kind of like Kakashi did in the fight when he awakened the Susanoo and made like the Kamui Shuriken whatever, as they would like activate upon impact. And also he has the ability to absorb chakra within 10 feet radius, as he can absorb all type of chakra, with it only being like the only weakness being that as if you absorb too much chakra, he would basically hurt himself, and this be like if it's like the 10 tails or something, he could die from it if it's not too powerful, whatever. And he has Tsukuyomi and Amaterasu flame control, whatever. As Mio's is actually like her Kamui ability, not Kamui. Her abilities are like basically Susanoo, like all them, like all the Uchihas, whatever. Amaterasu and Amaterasu flame control, Kamui, and be able to use all of the element and like bend them to her will without doing hindsight and all that stuff. So yeah. Oh my gosh. Now I kinda lost where I was. Shit. Freaking hell. God dang it. I lost where I was. Alright. My bad. Anyways, basically Tobi would slam Menma's head into the ground, making him go unconscious, as his body would basically get sucked away into a swelling vortex, sending him into the Kamui dimension. As Naruto also put a seal on his neck, basically suppressing the Nine Tails chakra and the Nine Tails itself, and Menma basically making him be unconscious until the seal is like on the neck is taking off. As Mito would basically do the same, like do some hand sign, as you say wind star, wind bullet, shooting multiple air bullet at Naruto, but they basically pass right through him like he wasn't even there. As you basically say, hey, that's not very nice, bad girl, as I'm going to basically spank you. as he would basically chuckle to himself, making Mito get more pissed as she would basically do some more hand sign and say windstar, wind hurricane, as it would basically it surrounded Toby, as he basically gets him flying up while basically he was like screaming, but it basically wasn't in pain or anything, as when he basically everything ended, Toby would basically be laying on the ground, as Mito would basically jump, like basically jump up with like a chakra powered, like a chakra powered jump, and then like go down kind of like Tsunade does, like a taking or whatever, as she basically put a lot of chakra in it to like break the ground and Toby in the process. As Toby would say, wait, time out, as he basically be like moving a little bit, as the kick would basically be like right next to his head, as he barely might dodge it, as she would basically start to punch him, as all of like the attacks would basically be dodged by Toby, as he would basically say, you're no match for the great Toby, as you basically get punched in the face, sending him flying away, as you basically hit a crater, as then he'll basically jump back up, coughing, saying, I guess I spoke too soon, as then his eyes will basically flash red, as Mito will basically suddenly collapse unconscious, as you basically he woke up to her, putting her the same seal that he put on Menma, as he would teleport her body into a swelling vortex as well, as he had used the ability to suck with chakra to like knock her out, basically to like drain, like make her run out of chakra, basically to like as meanwhile Kakashi was basically getting like basically beat by Mio, as she had basically put a chakra restriction seal on him, making him not be able to use his chakra. Then restriction seal on him just like basically make him not be able to move. So anyways, basically and like basically since he can't move, he can't take off the chakra seal, this chakra restriction seal. It's like basically a tag, kind of like a paper bomb, but like it doesn't explode. It's just like a restriction seal in a chakra one as well. As then, basically, Mio basically walk up to him and lift up his headband. As then she will basically put two fingers in front of his eyes, and then he will basically scream in pain, as blood will basically be dripping out of his eye socket, as she had basically ripped out his eyes, as then he basically tried to cover his wounds but wouldn't be able to move, as Mio's seal basically would still be on him, as Mio would basically start to laugh, as she would basically say, sorry Kakashi Hatake, but this doesn't belong to you. It's kind of like a little girl's voice, basically. Not as basically she would say, this doesn't belong to you, this belongs to Toby senpai, not you. As then she would basically walk away, letting him bleed a little bit, as Toby would basically walk up to her, not to her, Sasuke, I mean. He would walk up to Sasuke, as he would basically, Sasuke would barely be conscious at this point, as you basically stop in front of Sasuke, as Sasuke would look up at Toby, as you basically, Toby would crouch in front of him, as you basically look at Sasuke in the eyes through the mask, as Sasuke would basically like Toby would say, Sasuke Uchiha, you really are the most weakest and pathetic Uchiha I've ever seen. You are a disgrace to the Uchiha clan, as Sasuke would basically start to basically get pissed, as then he would stare into the black, like basically you know how Toby's mask is like the one eye hole you can see is like completely dark and shit. Basically he'll be staring into that, as then all the darkness would change from darkness to like blood red with three black tomoes, as then the tomoes would basically be spinning and shit, as then Toby will basically let go, as then he'll basically say, well, Toby's out, as him and Mio will basically get sucked away into a swirling vortex, as Sasuke would basically crawl up to Kakashi, as then he would basically take of the paralyzing tag, basically making Kakashi be able to move again, as he'll basically take the chakra restriction seal off, as they'll basically heal up and go back to the Hidden village. And yeah, they'll basically be completely silent the whole time, but in the way that Sasuke will basically be thinking about what this Toby person said, and he basically thought Toby as a complete idiot, but he definitely saw Sharingan eyes in there. But how, he doesn't know, because he thought him and his brother was supposed to be the only, like, the last Uchihas, as he would basically be thinking to himself, what this man said, as he would basically then skip over to the Akatsuki base, as Toby and Mio would basically appear on the humanoid statue, as Toby would basically say, the great Toby have returned. Now fix your eyes on this, as basically a swirling vortex would appear around him, next to him, as the unconscious body of Mema and Mito would drop from it, as then they will basically start to extract the Nine-Tails demon chakra from the two Jinchurikis. Meanwhile, Hiruzen and Sarutobi, the third Hokage, were sitting in his office with Jiraiya and Tsunade, as they were basically talking about how they needed to basically get ready for the upcoming Chunin exams, as they will basically suddenly be interrupted by Kakashi and Sasuke suddenly coming into the room, painting, as Hokage would basically say, "Oh, Team 7, what brings you here?" And Kakashi would say, "Lord Hokage, I have come to report about the quote-unquote secret mission that you have gave us, which turned out to actually be a A-rank mission," shocking the Hokage, as then he would basically say, "What happened and where is Mema and Mito?" As Kakashi would look down, "Well, that's the thing. After we killed Zabuza Momochi and his comrade, but then two members of the organization called Akatsuki came and basically took them away. One of them called himself Toby, and the other one called herself Mio." As the Hokage, Jiraiya, and Tsunade would basically be shocked, as then Sasuke would basically say, "In the one that calls himself Toby seems to be an Uchiha. I saw a tweet from Sharingan to his mask hole," shocking the group even more, as then they basically hear someone crying, as they will basically look up to see a man with orange mask and the Akatsuki cloak crying on the shoulder of a girl who basically was wearing the mask with, like, a black mask with the same swirling pattern in one eye hole like the male, as they basically had the same cloak with, like, the Akatsuki cloak, basically black and gray clouds and white outlining and shit like that. As then the man would say, "Mio-chan, how could he do this to me? I trusted him." As he basically went off and basically, like, how could he do this to me? I trusted him, and he basically betrays me by running off to tell his friend about me. As he basically started to cry even more, as the girl would basically say, "It's okay, Toby senpai. We'll basically get our revenge. Maybe we should do it by not giving them the two previous ex-Jinchuriki of the Nine-Tails back." As Toby would say, "No, we are good Akatsuki. If we don't give them back the two ex-Jinchurikis, we will be bad." As Mio would gasp and say, "I'm sorry, Toby senpai." Basically, yeah. As basically Toby would say, "Yes, Toby is a good boy, so we must do the right thing, even if it hurts." As Jiraiya would basically say, "How did you get in here? And what are you doing here? And who are you?" As the male would basically say, "I'm Toby, and Toby is a good boy." And basically the girl would say, "I'm Mio, and Mio is a good girl." As then, boom, the tower would basically come crashing down, as Tsunade had basically went to kick Toby, but her kick basically went right to him. As then Toby would drop down and say, that was so mean. If you keep doing that, Toby will not give you the extra trick at the nine tails, and she'll basically stop. As then a swirling vortex will appear next to Toby, as the conscious body of Mito will basically fall out of it. As then Jiraiya will basically do a hand sign, and then the ground will basically open, revealing a giant. Sorry about that. I had to just like wait that. Shit, fuck, no, shit. Yes, sorry about that. Can't mess up there. But yeah, basically, remember, and Mito will fall out of the swirling vortex. As Jiraiya will basically do some hand sign, and the ground will basically open, revealing a giant mouth and like a toad mouth and a long tongue will basically shot out of it and wrapping itself around Toby and Mio, as they will basically hold the tongue, trying to basically get out of them. As Toby will basically say, "A toad is so gross." As Mio will basically say, "Yeah, so much saliva." As Toby will basically say, "What a dirty trick! How could you do this to us? So cool." As then Zetsu will basically come out of the ground, as you basically say, Toby and Mio, leader has sent me to retreat you guys. He has a mission for you. As Toby will basically say, okay, as he'll basically hold onto Mito's hand, as they will get sucked away into a swirling vortex. As Zetsu will basically go back on the ground. As we skip over to the Akatsuki base, as Toby and Mio would appear on their respective finger or whatever, as Toby will basically start to basically scream for help, as he basically run over to Kisame, as he would say, "Kisame, please, you have to help us. Look what the disgusting toad did to me in Mio-chan." As Kisame will basically smirk, as then he'll basically do a single hand sign, as water would basically come rushing out, seeing the two of them flying away, as they'll basically hit the humanoid statue, as they'll basically slip down and fall down, as they'll basically say, "Well, now that you're all," Pain would basically fucking hell. Pain would say, "Now that you're all here, I have a mission for you, Deidara, Toby and Mio. I want you to go infiltrate the Leaf Village and kill Orochimaru and capture the one-tailed Jinchuriki. And if there's any other, then ask Kisame and Itachi for help." Toby and Mio will basically go into a salutation post, as they'll basically say, "Yes, sir." But guys, this much I'm going to be leaving now. I hope you guys liked and enjoyed. Let me know if you guys want a next part. And yeah, get this video if I like for next part. And for following you, I'm going to be out for now. Peace.